What's up guys, my name is Elle and welcome to or back to the Coffee Shop Project. I spent a lot of time on the Coffee Shop Project last year in 2020 talking about other people, their coffees, and their coffee journeys, and I didn't really make it personal and about me. And coffee is personal, so I decided that I wanted to start off this next season of the Coffee Shop Project by showing you my favorite coffee ritual and telling you 7 things I learned along the way. Over the past couple of months, my coffee of choice has been Magnolia Press's Texas Pecan roast. I tried it for the first time back in October when my mom and I went on our annual trip to Waco, and even though it's not natural flavors, I love the pecan flavoring, and it just brings me back to all of those special times in Waco that I get to share with my mom. And I just love the ambiance that it brings to my house, and I'm gonna brew it for you guys today in a Chemex. I have been loving my Chemex right now, and I'm loving it even more because I just got a gooseneck kettle, which is really upping my game. So let's get started. If I hadn't stressed this enough during my little spiel, the first thing that I learned over the past 4 months is that coffee is subjective. I came into this coffee shop project with a preconceived notion that everybody in the coffee industry is kind of snobbish and that they have their ways and think they only do it their way and don't even want to hear anything from you because you're new or uneducated. That was actually not the case at all, and almost everyone I talked to was happy to educate me, wanted to share their ritual, but was also interested in mine and stressed the importance of finding what you love. You know, my grandmother, she just likes to drink those instant Starbucks Vias every morning. That's her ritual. I like this, but you do you. The second thing that I learned is that coffee is actually all hand-picked and that it takes 70 coffee beans to make 1 cup of coffee, and that's 35 hand-picked coffee cherries because there's only 2 beans in each, and that has just led me to be a lot more thoughtful in my coffee consumption and brewing processes. And that was the first of our 3 Chemex pours. If you want to learn how to use the Chemex, I'm going to link the video that I filmed a couple weeks back about that in the description below. For me, the most fascinating thing I picked up on the coffee industry during this little journey is that there are people that are professionally trained to conduct coffee cuppings, smell it, drink it, all the good stuff, and they are called Q graders. And in order to become a Q grader, you have to pass like 19 tests. It's insane. Something I would love to add to my coffee connoisseuring portfolio in the future, but it's also really expensive. So if someone wants to sponsor me, hit me up. You know, along this journey, interviews have been the most interesting thing for me, and according to my analytics, it's been one of the most interesting things for you guys too. And one of the first things that I was told while conducting an interview with Ren Doty back in November is that people in the coffee industry are willing to talk about other brands and support one another because they know there are so many coffee drinkers that they're not going to supply for everyone, and different people have different tastes. So it's super cool that it's not like taboo to mention another company and that they all are supportive. Okay, so our Chemex is brewing. It's going to take about 5 minutes for that to drip all the way through. And while we wait, I'm going to make you guys my favorite creamer to add to my Texas Pecan roast. So I am a little bit of a purist with coffee creamers and syrups, and I don't like a ton of them, but the one that I love is Starbucks vanilla syrup, and Starbucks brand syrup is the only syrup I'll ever drink. I really don't care for the others, but again, subjective. You can like whatever you like. And I like to add it to a touch of heavy cream. I like to do 1 pump of the vanilla syrup in here, which comes out to about half of a tablespoon. And then I like to do about a tablespoon of heavy cream because I like the aesthetic when it pours into my mug. Gonna mix that up a little bit. And while we've tried a lot of different coffees on this little journey, we've also roasted coffee. And going into this, roasting coffee is not something that I knew I could just pick up as a hobby, and anyone can do it. All you really need is an oven, and if you want to be, a little fancy, you can get a popcorn popper. I have one. It was like $15, and I've been loving it, and I'm gonna be roasting a lot more this year, so stay tuned for that. And building on roasting at home or any specialty roasted coffee that you choose to buy, there is actually an ideal time period to enjoy it, and that is within 48 to 72 hours of the actual roast. And I had no idea about this during coffee. I would just leave my bag of Starbucks beans in the pantry forever, but now I always check the labels on the bottom. So this is a Bad Dwarf and Bronson Holiday Blend. It was roasted on December 1st. Clearly I enjoyed it a while ago, and I got it at like that perfect degassing period, and I got to enjoy all the flavor notes and the freshness. And while coffee won't go bad if you leave it, a lot of those things will kind of go away and you won't get to enjoy it to the fullest. And if you don't grind the beans, it does last a little bit longer. So now it is time to pour. And if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know I love a good aesthetic Chemex pour. And we are going to build on that today because I think heavy cream just looks amazing being poured into a glass. And I did double batch this off camera because I'm gonna be sharing these with my mom. Okay, let's have some coffee and finish this up. It's delicious every time. So the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video, and the overarching takeaway from the first season of the Coffee Shop Project, is that coffee people are the absolute coolest. Again, like coffee rituals, I kind of went in with this idea that coffee people were standoffish and that they weren't gonna want to help me because I was young and had no idea what I was doing. This is definitely not the case. I quickly learned that if I was willing to go up to someone and just ask, they would help me, they'd provide information, and then actually link me up to more connections. You know, back when I was in Austin, I was talking to this random guy that I struck up a conversation with at a coffee shop. It ended up being Mike McKim. He invited me back to tour his roastery, and from there I got to interview Mark Crawford, Rin Doty, Chad Crossan, and just learn so much and get to share that education with you guys. So if you are thinking of starting something of any kind, the fastest way to get it going is to ask, and I'm sure that you will learn the people in your industry are cool too. Well, thank you so much for watching this first 2021 episode of the Coffee Shop Project. I have so many exciting things planned for this year, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. The one change I am making to my channel is that I'm no longer going to be uploading our Wednesday videos. Instead of that, I wanted to tap into vertical video and TikTok, so I'm going to be posting 3 a week there starting this week. So if you want to follow me, it's Elle Grayson, and as usual, I will be here at 3 p.m. Saturdays, and I hope you will subscribe and follow along. Bye guys.